Hi everyone, this is Reema here, your biology educator from V-Learning. So as you know that V-Learning is an online educational platform where we provide quality education for all. So to get all the benefits from our channel, visit to our website, that is www.v-learning.in, where you will be getting all the pre-recorded videos, the live classes and the animated videos of all the lessons and also the PDF notes of this topic. So let's begin today's session. So in our last class, we have started with chapter number 11, that is transport in plants, right, where you have learned about the means of transport in plants, right, and you have seen that how the transportation is taking place through the diffusion and facilitated diffusion and the active transport, right. So in today's class, that is your lecture number 2, where you will be learning about the plant water relationships, okay, how the plant and the water is related to one another. As you know that water, which is the essential nutrient for the growth and development of the plant tissues, okay, so water is an important element which helps in the growth and development of the plant. So each and every part of the plant needs water, and it is being transported through the xylem, right. So it is being transported through the xylem. So water, when it is being transported through the xylem, so it creates what? Water potential, okay, it creates water potential. So we are going to learn about water potential, then we are going to learn about plasmolysis and imbibition in today's session. So let's see. Yes. So let's see what is the importance of water for plants. Why water is necessary for plants, okay? So why it is necessary? Because it is essential for all the physiological activities of the plants, okay? It is essential for all the physiological activities of the plant, and also plays a very important role in living organisms, right? So without water, no one can survive, isn't it? So it plays a very, very important role in the living organism. Water, along with the water, essential mineral nutrients are also carried by the xylem, okay? So next, it provides the medium in which most substances are dissolved, right. So water is the medium in which most of the substances like solutes, okay, the solutes gets dissolved, okay. Now the protoplasm of the cells is nothing but water in which different molecules are dissolved and suspended. All right. So the protoplast of the cell is nothing but what? It is the area where the different molecules are being suspended, okay. So yes, next is what? Terrestrial plants. Terrestrial plants means those plants in the land, right? Some plants you will see in the water. So terrestrial plants, they take up a huge amount of water daily, but most of it is lost to the air through evaporation from the leaves, that is transpiration. Now what is this transpiration? Transpiration is nothing but the loss of water, okay, but that is the loss of water from the leaves of the plants, okay, loss of water from the leaves of the plant, that is transpiration. So a mature corn plant, okay, so a mature corn plant absorbs almost 3 liters of water in a day. So a corn plant, it absorbs how much liter of water? It absorbs 3 liters of water. 3 liters of water is being absorbed by the corn plant. Now talking about this, now a mustard plant, okay, which absorbs equal to its own weight, and it is about in 5 hours, okay, about in 5 hours. Next is what? That it is the limiting factor for plant growth and productivity in both agricultural and natural environments. So what it does, it helps in plant growth, okay, it helps in the growth of the plant, okay, and it is one of the important factor which is necessary for the agriculture, for the process of agriculture, right? Now let us learn the water potential. So what is this water potential? Water potential depends upon two things. One is solute potential and the pressure potential. So what is water potential? Water potential is a concept fundamental to understanding water movement, okay? So water potential is nothing but the movement of water, okay? Movement of water. Clear? So it is nothing but the movement of water, okay? Movement of water in plants is water potential. Now, okay, this is a plant, okay, this is a plant. Now, water will be moving, okay, water will be moving from where? From the roots, okay, from the roots, the water will be moving to different parts of the plants, right? It will be moving to different parts of the plants. So, the movement of the water is called as what? Is called as water potential. So if the water is free, okay, if the water is free, it can move easily. Now water has got kinetic energy. Water has what? Water has kinetic energy, okay. So if the water is in the purest form, okay, if the water is in the purest form, okay, if the water is the pure water, it will move in a faster manner. It will move fast, okay. But if the water is mixed with solutes, okay, if the water is mixed with solutes, the movement of water will be slow, right? The movement of water will be slow. When the water is a pure water, that is nothing is mixed in it, right? So easily the water can move to different parts of the plants, isn't it? So this is what? This is water potential. It is nothing but the movement of water into the plants. Okay, very, very simple. Now, it depends upon two things. One is solute potential. So, one is solute potential. Water potential is denoted by a symbol, okay? That is psi, okay? Psi, okay? This symbol is known as psi, okay? And it is on down, you have to write that W. W means what? Water, okay? This is the symbol for water potential. Now, solute potential and pressure potential, okay? That is, it depends upon the pressure exerted by the different cells, okay? So it depends upon also the solutes, okay? Also the solutes, okay? How much the solute is present in the water. So these are the two important what? These are the two important components, okay, that determine the water potential. So what are the two important components of the that determine the water potential? One is your solute potential and another is what? Another is pressure potential. Clear? Now the symbol for solute potential is psi S. Okay. This is the symbol for the solute potential and psi P is the symbol for the pressure potential. Clear? So next let us move into the next thing, that water molecules possess kinetic energy, which I have already said that water molecules, what it possesses kinetic energy. If this is, okay, so here water molecules are present. Now these water molecules, what they possess? Kinetic energy, okay, they possess kinetic energy, with the help of which kinetic energy they are able to move to different parts of the plants, okay. So they are in random motion, that is both rapid and constant, okay. So they are in random motion, the water molecules are in random motion. So in liquid and gaseous form they are in random motion, in liquid and gaseous form they are in random motion, okay. The greater the concentration of water in a system, the greater is its kinetic energy or water potential, okay. So if the concentration of water is greater, okay, then the kinetic energy also will be greater. Clear? Next, let us see that diffusion, which we have already discussed. What is this diffusion? Diffusion is nothing but what? Diffusion is movement. Diffusion is movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to lower concentration. Is that clear? This is what this is, diffusion. This is the definition for diffusion. And as you know that diffusion is a slow process, so it does not involve what? It does not involve the use of ATP. In the process of diffusion, ATP is not involved. So if two systems containing water and contact, random movement of water molecules will result in net movement of water molecules from the system within higher energy to the one with the lower energy. Now what does it mean? Okay, what does it mean? So if this is, let's say here, okay, here water molecules are present, right? Water molecules are present. So see, the molecules here, this is higher concentration, okay, and it is lower concentration. So in diffusion, what happens? The molecules move from the region of higher concentration, So this is higher concentration, this is lower concentration. So if what happens, if two systems containing water and are in contact, okay, so if two cells, okay, let's say cells are in that is containing water, okay, and they are in together, okay, in contact with water each other, then what happens? The molecules that is having the molecules will be moving from higher energy, that is higher concentration, to the lower energy, that is lower concentration, okay. So that it means, thus water will move from the system containing water at higher water potential, one having lower water potentials, that is which we have just explained, right? So this process of movement of substance down a gradient of free energy is called diffusion. As you know that diffusion depends upon what? Diffusion depends upon gradient concentration. Gradient concentration. Now what is this gradient concentration? Gradient concentration means what? The size of the particles, okay? The size of the particles. Next, water potential is denoted by the Greek symbol psi. We have already learned that water potential, its symbol is psi, right? P-S-I. So this is the symbol for water potential, and it is expressed in pressure units such as Pascal, okay? So what is the pressure unit? That is, what is the unit of water potential? It is what? It is Pascal, okay? It is Pascal, which is written as PA. So water potential of pure water is 0. Water potential of pure water, why it is 0? Because here what happens, the water molecules are free. All right, so see here, the water molecules here will be free, isn't it? It can easily move, okay? So when the waters are not pure, when the water is not mixed with any other solute, it is pure, okay? It has got more kinetic energy. It has got more kinetic energy. It has got more kinetic energy, and it can move freely, okay? And it can move freely because it is not mixed with other solutes, okay? It is not mixed with other solutes. That's why the pure water, that is water potential of pure water, is 0. Next is solute potential. As you have seen that water potential, it depends upon two things, right? What are the two things? That is, one is solute potential and another one is pressure potential, isn't it? So if some solute is dissolved in pure water, the solution has fewer free water and the concentration of water decreases, okay, reducing its water potential. Now what does it mean? What does it mean? Okay, so see, this is water, okay, this is a beaker which is containing water, okay, which is containing water. So these are all water. So if the solutes are getting mixed here with the water, so what happens when the solutes get mixed with the water? The concentration, that is concentration of water, that is there will be very few there will be very few free space, okay, very few free space for the water to move, right? So for example, okay, in your room also you are living alone, right? So you will be enjoying everything, but after few days, if 2-3 person comes and starts to live with you, you will be having very few space, right? That will be like, yeah, it will be limited, okay, you have to share your bed, you have to share everything, isn't it? So what happens in that case? You are losing your freedom, isn't it? So it is same that water also, when the solute comes and combines with the water, what is the solute? Solutes are nothing but the minerals, but the ions, okay, but the ions which are necessary for the plants. So when it comes and combined with the water, the concentration of the water, what happens? It decreases and the water potential also decreases. That is, water potential also will be reducing, right? And also it has got very few space to move freely, okay, few free space to move freely. Hence all solutions having a lower water potential than pure water, the magnitude of this lowering due to dissolution of a solute is called solute potential, okay, solute potential. So because of these solutes, what happens? Because of these solutes, the water is what? The water that is water potential is being reduced, isn't it? Because of this solute, because of the deposition of the solute, the water cannot move freely, isn't it? So that is known as what? That is known as what? That is known as solute potential. That is, because of the solute, the water potential is lower, right? So lower than the pure water, right? And the magnitude of this lowering due to dissolution of solute is called as solute potential, and it is denoted by the symbol. What? Denoted by the symbol. What is the symbol? That is psi s, right? And this is negative, okay? This is negative. Solute potential is always negative. Is that clear? Okay, it will reduce, isn't it? It is reducing the water potential, so it is always negative. Next is what? Pressure potential. Now what is this pressure potential? Pressure potential means what? Pressure can build up in a plant system when water enters the plant cell due to diffusion. Now sometimes what happens, you know that the plant, they have got cell wall, isn't it? The plants, they have cell wall. So yes, this is the plant cell. The plant also will be having cell wall. This is the cell wall. Okay. Now what happens? The water molecules will be moving inside the plant cell, right? So when the water molecules move inside the plant cells, so the pressure builds up in the cells, okay? Because of the movement of the water molecules, the pressure builds up into the plant cell. So due to this, causing diffusion, causing a pressure build up against the cell wall. So it makes the cell turgid, and this increase the pressure potential. So for example, you keep the resin overnight, right? So a morning you will see that it swells up, isn't it? So why it swells up? It is because the cell wall of the resin, it absorbs water from the outside and the pressure builds up in it, right? So it becomes turgid, it becomes rigid, right? So this is water potential. Okay, so see, because of this, okay, because of this, what happens? The cell becomes turgid. Okay, because of this, the cell becomes turgid, and the pressure potential, what happens? That is, the pressure potential increases. Okay, when water gets inside the cell, the pressure potential increases and the cell becomes turgid, right? Pressure potential increases, potential increases. Okay, now next, pressure potential is usually positive. So pressure potential, the symbol is psi p, and it is what? It is positive. Okay, because it increases. Okay, it increases. It is positive. To in plants, negative potential or tension in the water column in the xylem plays a major role in water transport up the step. Okay, pressure potential is denoted by psi P, right? So next, let us see the water potential relationship. So there is a relationship provided for the plant water, that is plant water relationship, we call it. What is that relationship? That relationship is written as psi W equals to psi S plus psi P. Okay, so this is the relation which is very important for 1 mark question. Okay, so what is the relation? The relationship between water and the plant is this one. Okay, water potential of cell is affected by both solute and pressure potential, right? Now next, let us learn what is this osmosis. Okay, osmosis is what? Osmosis is the movement of molecules from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, osmosis is the movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration, yes, concentration to lower concentration. This is the definition of osmosis. Okay, through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, through a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, through a semi-permeable membrane. Now, osmosis, it is the term used to refer specially to the diffusion of water. Okay, so what happens in diffusion? In diffusion, the molecules move from a region of lower, that is from higher concentration to lower concentration, right? So similarly, it is used to specially refer the diffusion of water across the differentially or semi-permeable membrane, and it occurs spontaneously in response to a driving force. Okay, and the net direction and the rate of osmosis depends on both pressure gradient and the concentration gradient. So osmosis depends on two things. What are the two things? Osmosis depends on pressure gradient and what? Pressure gradient and concentration gradient. Okay, concentration gradient, pressure gradient and concentration gradient. So see here, now water will move from its region to higher chemical potential. Now see, if this is a beaker, okay, and here in the cell, for example, so see, okay, this is what? This is semi-permeable membrane. This is a semi-permeable membrane. So, water molecules here, water molecules are here. In a two membrane, water molecules, in between two cells, okay, the water will move. So see, this is a semi-permeable membrane. So this is permeable membrane, and these are all the water molecules which will be moving from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Okay, the water molecules will move through the semi-permeable membrane from the region of higher concentration to the region of lower concentration. Okay, higher concentration, these are all molecules which will be moving from region of higher concentration to region of lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So this is osmosis. So this is of higher concentration, okay, higher concentration, and this is what? This is a lower concentration, right? So this is osmosis. So water will move from its region of higher chemical potential to its region of lower chemical potential unit to maintain equilibrium. Okay, so it will continue move from the higher potential to the lower potential unless until equilibrium is maintained. Okay, that is equality is achieved. Clear? So at equilibrium, the two chambers should have the same water potential. Okay, so it will be moving from this chamber to this chamber unless and until equality is achieved, that is equilibrium is obtained. Clear? Next, plasmolysis. Next topic we'll learn is plasmolysis. Now what is this plasmolysis? Okay, for example, this is a plant cell. Okay, now plant cell has got cell wall. So it has cell wall. It also has plasma membrane. It also has plasma membrane, right? So this is the cell wall. This is the cell wall. Okay, this is the cell wall. This is the plasma membrane. Okay, now what happens in case of plant cell? So if it is placed in a solution, if it is kept in a solution where the outside environment is having higher concentration, then the cell will gain water. Okay, the cell will gain water. So if the outside concentration, that is, if the outer environment of the cell, okay, let me make it a little bit small. So see, yes, okay, if this is, okay, it is the outer environment. If this is the cell, okay, if this is the cell, so it is placed here. It has got what? It has got vacuole, right? Now this is what? These are all the water molecules. These are all the water molecules. Okay, these are all the water molecules, and this is the cell. This is the cell. This is the cell. Okay, this is what? This is plant cell. So if it is kept in a solution where it is having what? Here it is high concentration. Okay, high concentration. Okay, so the outer environment of the cell is of higher concentration. So if the outer environment of the cell is of higher concentration, what happens? The cell will gain water or solute, okay, or solute, and what happens is pressure will build up. Okay, pressure will build up. So that process is known as plasmolysis. Okay, plasmolysis occurs when water moves from out of the cell and the cell membrane of the plant cell shrinks away from its cell wall. So this occurs when the cell is placed in a solution that is hypertonic. So in case of plasmolysis, the cell might swell or the cell might shrink. As I said that here the cell will swell. Okay, here the cell will swell. Okay, here the cell will swell up. But in case if it is placed in a solution which is having what? Which is having of much higher concentration. The outer environment is of much higher concentration, okay. So the water will move inside the cell, the water will move inside the cell, and the cell will shrink, okay. So this is called as what? This is called as plasmolysis. Plasmolysis may lead to the swelling or the shrinking of the cells, okay, depending on the concentration on which the cell is being placed, okay. Plasmolysis occurs when water is moving out of the cell or when it is moving inside the cell, okay. This process is known as plasmolysis. Next, let us see that, yes, let us see that what happens here. You can see that the plasmolyzed cell, okay. So when water moves inside the cell swells up, okay. Here the cell swells, okay. Swelling of the cell is being seen and the cell becomes flaccid and turgid, okay. Now see, in case of plasmolysis, the behavior of the plant cells with regard to water movement depends on the surrounding solution, okay, on which solution it is being placed. If the outer environment, that is the solution where the cell is being placed, so this is a cell, so the solution, that is where the solution, that is, or the outer environment, okay, it depends on the solution or what, or the outer environment, where the cell is being placed, okay, outer environment where the cell is being placed. Depending on that, water gets enter into the cell, okay, or water moves out of the cell, okay. Water either gets enter into the cell or water moves out of the cell. So water, what happens, gets inside, water gets inside the cell, water gets inside the cell or moves out of the cell, okay, moves out of the cell, depending on the solution. It all depends on the outer environment or the solution where the cell is being placed, okay. If the cell is placed in a solution which is having higher concentration, then the cell will occupy the water from the outer environment and it will swell up, okay. So if the cell is placed in a solution which is having lower concentration, then the cell will shrink up, the cell will lose water, okay, the water will move out of the cell. Let us understand how it is, okay. So isotonic solution, iso means what? Iso means equal, okay. So here equality is maintained, there is no shrinkage or swelling of the cell, okay, the cell will remain constant. Now what is this isotonic solution? When the cell is placed in isotonic solution, there is no net movement of water molecules, okay, there is no net flow of water towards inside or outside. So the outer environment and the cell is being balanced, okay. So if the cell is placed in the solution, okay, so there is equality, okay, there is equality, so it will be same, okay, it will be same, equilibrium is maintained, equilibrium is maintained, okay, equilibrium is maintained. So there is no net movement of water. There you will not see the movement of water, okay. The outer environment and the cell, it is equal, okay. It is not of that much higher, not of that much lower, okay, lower concentration. So the equality is maintained, okay. So no net movement of water takes place in case of isotonic solution, okay, in case of isotonic solution. If the external solution balances the osmotic potential pressure of the cytoplasm, it is said to be isotonic. So when water flows into the cell and out of the cell under an equilibrium, so when the water molecules, so see here the water molecules which are flowing inside and outside the cell, right? So the water molecules will be going inside the cell. So this is a cell, right? This is a cell, and this is what? This is the solute, okay, or the solution where the cell is being kept. So when the water molecules moving inside and outside, okay, so it is moving inside, and even from the cell also it is coming out, right? It is coming out, isn't it? So water molecules, when they are moving both inside and outside, okay, the equilibrium is maintained, so there is no net flow of water, okay. So yes, and the cell is said to be flaccid, okay, flaccid. Next, what is this hypotonic solution? Hypotonic solution, what happens, the that is the outer, that is the environment, outer environment where the cell is being kept, that is it will be having higher concentration. The outer environment will be having what? Will be having higher water potential, okay, higher water potential, as you can see here, because of which the water molecules, it will absorb water, okay, it will absorb water, the cell will absorb water, and it will swell up, okay, and it will become turgid. So see here what happens, okay. So if the cell, this is a cell, okay, this is a cell, and it is placed in an solution where the outer environment is having what? Is having higher water potential, okay. So that means it is of higher concentration, okay, it is having higher concentration. So it is having high water potential, okay, high water potential, because of which the water molecules will move, that is these water molecules, okay, these water molecules are going to move inside the cell, okay. So when the water molecules move inside the cell will increase in size, okay. Now the cell will increase in size, is that clear? So this will, from this size, it will become bigger in size, okay, it will become bigger in size. The cytoplasm of the cell will receive more water. So yes, water diffuses into the cell, causing the cytoplasm to build up pressure against the wall, that is called as turgor pressure, okay. So the water gets built up here, the water gets built up in the cytoplasm, of the cell. You know which one is the cytoplasm, right, where the cell organelles are present. So water gets built up in the cytoplasm of the cell, and because of which what? The cell becomes turgid, because the pressure builds up, okay, the pressure builds up in the cell, and that is known as what? That is known as turgid pressure. Is that clear? So that is known as, turgor pressure, okay, that is known as turgor pressure, which makes the cell rigid, okay. Now here the cell swells, as you can see in case of the hypotonic solution, that is swelling of cell takes place, okay, swelling of cell takes place in case of hypotonic solution. Let's move into the hypertonic solution. Now here what happens, if the external solution is more concentrated, so yes, if the external solution is more concentrated, now what happens is the cell will become small, okay, the cell shrinks, okay, the cell shrinks. Why? Because the external environment where the cell is being kept, it is having more concentrated, right? So it is of higher concentration or more concentrated, okay, because of which the cell shrinks, and this is called as what? Hypertonic solution. So these are the three types of solution we have learned. Now last topic is imbibition. Now what is this imbibition? That is the solid particles or the solid cells, okay. For example, the wood, Okay, so the seeds, okay, they also contain amount of water. In the seeds, okay, in the seeds of various fruits, water is also present. In case of wood, okay, in case of wood, water is also present. Okay, water has that is, wood has the capacity to absorb the water. So during the rainy season, you will see that the wood, okay, the wood, if you keep outside, okay, which we use for building our, which we use for making our houses, right? If you keep it outside, okay, and it's rainy season, you will see that it will swell up. Okay, so this wood also have the capacity to absorb the water, that is the solid substances, right? The imbibition is a special type of diffusion when water is absorbed by the solids. Okay, so wood is a solid, right? So the solid substances has the capacity to absorb water. Okay, it is nothing but the capacity of the solid substances to absorb water. Okay, causing them to enormously increase in volume. Okay, so if this is a piece of wood which is outside, after it absorbs water, okay, it will become bigger in size. Okay, it will become bigger in size. Okay, so water is being absorbed by the wood, right? Water is being absorbed by this wood, right? So the, what is this? It is nothing but the phenomenon by which the solid absorbs water. So imbibition is nothing but the phenomenon, that is, by which solid substance absorbs absorbs water. Okay, solid substance absorbs, SORPS, absorbs water. Okay, so that is imbibition. Next, imbibition, that is, example of imbibition are absorption of water by seeds. Okay, so seeds also has the capacity to absorb the water from the endosperm of the fruits, okay, and dry wood. So the pressure that is produced by the swelling of wood has been used by the prehistoric man to split rocks and the boulders. Then imbibition is also diffusion. It is also one type of diffusion, since there is water movement. Okay, because in case of imbibition also water movement takes place, right? Along the concentration gradient, the seeds and other such materials have almost no water, hence they absorb water easily, right? So imbibition is also what? It is also a type of diffusion, right? Because the solids are absorbing water. Is that clear? So in today's session we have learned about what? We have learned about the plant water relationship. We have seen that how the water is being related to the growth of the plants, and we have learned the formula of the water potential, isn't it? And we have also completed the various phenomenon like the plasmolysis and osmosis, diffusion, which is taking place in plants for the transportation of the minerals in plants. So this is all about today's session. In our next class we will learn about how the plants are absorbing the water with the help of the roots and how they are being transported. Okay, so I hope you have understood what has been discussed in today's session. So if you like this video, do like it, and also share it with your other friends so that they will get benefit out of it. And I will meet you in my next class where we'll be learning about more interesting topics. So till then, take care and bye bye.